I have to close out this show today with a very heavy heart. This week, the world lost a true warrior. Michael C. Ruppert took his own life on April 13th after closing out his last radio show, The Lifeboat Hour. A world-famous activist and investigative journalist, Michael was first thrust into the public spotlight back in 1996 as a former LAPD narcotics detective when he confronted the former head of the CIA, John Deutsch, about the CIA running drugs into the country and facilitating the inner-city crack epidemic. Check it out.
I was personally exposed to CIA operations and recruited by CIA personnel who attempted to recruit me in the late 70s to become involved in protecting agency drug operations in this country.
This fearless move ultimately caused Deutsch to step down from the CIA, but Michael only persevered and continued to tell his story from a hard-hitting newsletter covering government corruption and cover-ups called From the Wilderness. There, Michael helped blow the lid off the true circumstances and gross negligence surrounding football star Pat Tillman's friendly fire death that ultimately helped lead to Donald Rumsfeld's resignation. Unfortunately, Michael was also cast as a conspiracy theorist just because he refused to shy away from controversy that others wouldn't touch. His first book, Crossing the Rubicon, outlined evidence pointing to insider trading on 9/11, alleging that members of the Bush administration and Wall Street had colluded with the 9/11 perpetrators for financial gain. But perhaps most notably was Michael's groundbreaking research in the subject of peak energy, specifically oil. His insightful predictions became the subject of a 2009 documentary called Collapse. It was an expose about the coming crash of human civilization due to the current models of unsustainable growth, ecological trends, and financial instability. Here's a clip.
What will the final outcome be? I don't know. It's a movie. And it's a movie we're all living in. We don't know whether the movie has a happy ending, a sad ending. We don't know whether everyone dies. We certainly know it's impossible for everybody to continue to live and keep consuming the way that we have all of the resources on this planet, the fresh water, the food, and everything else. So we don't know how it's going to end.
It is a movie, and Mike was much more than a passive viewer of life's unfolding reel of time. In 2010, Michael founded the Collapse Network to build an online community and conscious support network of activists, not necessarily to stop the impending collapse of industrial civilization, but to build a future beyond it, one of conscious living and spiritual enlightenment. Here he is on this show, talking about why we need to throw our bodies onto the gears of the machine.
I have a saying that I use called fire your weapon, and it has nothing to do with guns and firearms. It has to do with whether your expression of dissatisfaction, desire for change, is an email, a letter to your congressman, carrying a picket sign, being a blockade in front of a Coca-Cola ramp or a railroad line shipping weapons. Find a weapon and fire it. And we must not believe that we are helpless victims. We must act as if we make a difference now, because the only alternative is to lay down, give up, and die. And I'm not like that, and I know you're not. And I know all the people who are watching shows like this deeply want to be involved in this shift in consciousness.
Fighting words that I will take to my grave. And as this show went on, Mike and I spoke often. He would write me with his support for what I did and express the faith he had in my work. But Michael also struggled with depression, and he'd announced many times that he was plagued with despair. There's only so much pain one can absorb, and there's only so much burden of the world one can hold on their shoulders. And if anyone watched his series Apocalypse Man on Vice, you knew that death was the last thing he was afraid of. In fact, he seemed to embrace it as if it was a leap of evolution during the later months of his life. Michael, you were my friend and my spiritual brother. I took advantage of knowing that you were there and that you would be there when I needed a friend and confidant later on. But even though you won't physically be there, I know you still will be. And the rays of the sun and wind whipping through the air. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. So rest in peace, Michael C. Ruppert. Your insight and passion will be truly, truly missed. We'll do our best to carry on the struggle without you, but I truly regret not telling you just how much you were loved and needed by us.